Hey guys, Moose here. Welcome back to Stonehearth in our Rayya's Children playthrough. Today is... Sorry for the kind of slow start here. I'm a little tanked. It's been a long week, as I've said in some of my other videos. But anyway. Ooh, actually, let's take a look at gripes real quick. I still don't... This has got to be bug, but whatever. Tranquility, tranquility, tranquility. Yeah, at least there's more of those than anything else. We are full in our inventory here. We need to resolve that immediately, but today is March 16th. And today, there's actually a lot of really good options, but I am going to be talking about maybe one of the biggest ones on this list, despite having a Final Fantasy title, EverQuest, which is massive. What else do we have? There's a Command & Conquer title. Dragon Age Origins Awakening came out today. In the past, I mean, obviously. But yeah, the one that I'm going to talk about is... I don't know, I think it's either the biggest or the second biggest behind EverQuest. That is Unreal Tournament 2004. Came out on this date. In what year was it? Oh, well, okay, just... If you're watching this video and you just thought that I'm a complete moron for wondering what year a game that has 2004 in the name came out, in my defense, every sports game ever comes out on a different year than the year suggests, or at least has in the past, I think. Or maybe I'm full of shit and that's not true at all, but it certainly seems that way. Anyway, point is, Unreal Tournament 2004 came out on this date, obviously, in 2004, which is 13 years ago today. Pretty cool. It's a damn good game. I think it's the only Unreal Tournament that I've ever played. And I still think that's probably one of the best shooters I've ever played. Just feels good. And I never played Quake or anything, so in my defense, you know, that's kind of my only entry in that genre, I guess, if you would compare Unreal to Quake, and maybe I'm wrong to do so, but I think they're kind of the same type of shooter. I played Tribes too, but that's a little bit different. It's similar, but it's not the same. Let's see if we can free up some inventory a different way here. That's gonna be what? Oh god, I can't do math. 14, right? 5 times 14 is gonna be... Okay, we need to... No, hitting spacebar still doesn't pause this game. Oh, you guys are dicks. Let's pull everyone back and then send the military out. We're gonna kill this guy first, let's say. It's like the 4th time I've hit space to try and pause the game here. Alright, they're like killing everyone, but whatever. Kill the archer. I don't know why we're killing the archer first. Kill this asshole. Stop breaking my doors, you prick. Those don't grow on trees, surprisingly, because they're not made out of wood. Would you say the wooden door grows on trees? I mean, the expression still fits, right? Because they don't come out of nowhere. The idea is that they're just not sitting there waiting for you to take, because there's work that has to be done to make wood into a door. But technically, don't doors grow on trees, kind of? In their own bizarre little way? I don't know. Stupid thought. Maybe I need to be smoking pot to have that thought normally. Oh well. I am not, if you are wondering. But that's a whole nother unrelated subject. Anyway, back to UT04. Which is... oh yeah, you know what? I can say that. I went to the University of Toronto for college, so... Well, I went to a couple places, but University of Toronto was one of them. Scarborough campus, if you're wondering, which is probably, I'm fine making that public knowledge, but anyway. Every time I hear UT, I'm like, oh, that's my school. No, it's never my school. It's always Unreal Tournament or University of Texas, neither of which is University of Toronto. No one says UT and means University of Toronto unless they were in Canada, and probably more specifically in Toronto, like actually in Toronto. If they're outside of Toronto but in Canada, they might actually still say UT and mean something else. But context is everything, of course. Anyway, so Unreal Tournament 2004, only one I ever played. Probably the only one in that kind of type of FPS that I ever played. It's not because I didn't really like them. Well, okay, I wasn't super into them, but let me clarify why. The reason I wasn't that into them is because it's hard for me to enjoy an FPS that I'm terrible at. I'm not a quick thinking guy. I don't do quick reaction time kind of stuff. The only way I've ever managed to do that is playing goalie in hockey. And that was kind of instinct and something that I've done for the overwhelming majority of my life. And if I take a break, it takes me quite a while to get back into it. So, like, right now, I couldn't go play goalie because I haven't played in, like... Actually, almost, like... I haven't really played goalie in, like, 10 years almost. But even 8 years ago, after I've been out for 2 years, I probably couldn't have gone back easily. And there's other reasons I suck at goalie now, but... that is a complex conversation about hybrid goaltending versus butterfly goaltending, and that is not the right thing to discuss right now, because I don't think anyone watching this video gives a shit about that, but maybe one day I can discuss it with Northern Line, or another Canadian who's into hockey, if I am so lucky. I am probably never going to be that lucky, but that's okay, I'll figure it out. I will make it happen somehow. I wonder how many YouTubers there are that, like, have... I mean, I don't want to say goal, that's not really why I'm doing this, but like that as maybe a dream scenario? Or like a milestone that they want to hit, maybe? I don't know. I don't think it's good. You can't actually have that be why you're doing it, because then it's pretty much guaranteed to never happen, because you can't make someone that important in your head, otherwise it will hurt you. Maybe not directly, but it will cause issues for you, so you can never... Or let me put it this way, if you view someone in that way, you can't really interact with them in a meaningful way, because it will never really work the way that it would need to, and it will always be kind of weird for the other person, so you just kind of have to... You know, if something's going to happen there, you let it happen. If it's not, then that's life. No big deal. Anyway, that was a much longer conversation about that than I intended to have. What I should be talking about is Twitch shooters. And probably the closest I ever got to being good at one was, I'd say Tribes Ascend. But like my skill in Tribes, well, that's not really a Twitch shooter, I guess. Yeah, it's actually really not a, okay. I've never been good at any of them then, let's put it that way. I was okay at UTO4, but I never really played against other people that much. I did occasionally, but it was very uncommon that I would do that. I really preferred to play against bots because of how terrible I was. Okay, something has gone wrong. What has gone wrong? Stonehearth crashed, that is what has gone wrong. Okay, we're gonna have another one of these episodes, huh? Alright, let's load up Stonehearth again. I apologize for this, guys. Yep, you can see all my save files. I click load, right? Yeah, there we go. Alright, let's see how this works. I didn't save, so I think we're right back to the get-go. Or right back to the start here, unfortunately. Which sucks, but it's not like we did that much. I guess I could cheat and position my military, but I don't think it really matters much. Yeah, I was never... In those games, I really only ever play as, like, you know, against bots. Or I kind of, like, primarily... Well, okay, let me put it this way. It's a weird situation, because I'm quite good at capture the flag, but I'm terrible at Twitch shooters. But a lot of Twitch shooters are capture the flag styled games. So what winds up happening is if I play, I'm 100% about defending the flag or attacking and taking their flag. And like I barely even try to shoot other people unless I have no choice, like defending the flag. I'm more likely to kind of create situations that work for me so that we don't get attacked and have the flag taken in particular ways, like laying a trap, basically. But it generally, a lot of them don't really work that way. Like, turrets weren't really a thing in UT, if I'm not mistaken. I think you had vehicles though. One moment. Sorry about that. I had a cough coming on there. Didn't want to blow out your eardrums. I know the one that I played had vehicles. I think that was UTO4, but there weren't really turrets. Were there turrets? I don't think there were. Like, there weren't classes or anything. It was just, it was, you know, the really nice old classic video game for FPS mechanic where it's like, okay, you want that gun, go get it. It spawns here on the map, and if it's better, generally you're going to have a harder time getting to it. But, like, I would generally rely on rockets, so anything with splash damage, which is funny because that's exactly what I do well, rockets and shotguns, which is exactly what I do in Overwatch. You know, my most successful rounds tend to be either Junkrat, Reaper, or Pharah. Which is kind of like, okay, these are the ones that you play when you can't aim for shit. Which is kind of my issue. I'm just not good with the reaction time, I guess. And if I shared Overwatch gameplay, which I've recorded in the past and posted, but no longer do, you're gonna see some moments where I just pathetically miss. Where it's like, I've got the timing right, I'm just like 2 seconds behind. We're not that far, but you get the idea. So what'll happen is oh shit, they're using those windows. Oops. Okay, I blew it on that one. No, they're making more, that's fine. Let's queue up another like 5 just so they have enough. Or 4. 4 is fine. But yeah, my crosshair will be wherever the person I'm targeting was, like a quarter of a second ago or half a second ago, and it like stays that far behind. I can't... Once I'm in that mode, it's really hard for me to adjust. No, we're gonna hit them right away. Okay, we don't need to worry about it. It's hard for me to adjust and kind of move a little bit further ahead without completely going past them. There have been a precious few moments in my life where I was actually good at aiming, and that has been, I mean, it's kind of forgiving, but Killing Floor, the original Killing Floor, I was good at no-scoping with the pistol headshots, which is a pretty important skill because it saves you money and gets you money by, you know, headshots get you more money so you can purchase better guns, which help you survive in the later rounds. But, other than that, I think I was only ever good at aiming in, like, Day of Defeat, and that was just with, like, okay, K98, which is which you can... There was no down-the-scope aiming, so it was pretty much just a slow-firing bolt-action rifle that, like, if you shot someone in the toe, they'd be very nearly dead, and if they were missing any health, they would just die, no matter where you hit them. And similarly with the allied version of the same... Oh, the allied version of that class, which would have been the Garand, I think? I know it was. I know that's what it was in the Day of Defeat source, but I don't know if that's what it was in the original. I can't remember. They had different weapons in the original. And they also had Brits, and I don't know if they had Russians, but they definitely... Oh, that's bad. Okay, we're gonna have to clear this place out. But yeah, they had Brits, which was pretty cool. Completely different weapons. Alright, we need to sell some shit. What are we gonna sell? What do I have entirely too much of? Trees. Gonna have to get rid of more than that, though. What about... Where is it? The stuff for thread. There. Oh, we only have 72. Okay, well, I'll sell some more clay then, I guess. Since we clearly don't need that. And I think that's, like, kind of all I want to sell. I don't really want to get rid of anything else. These are unnecessary. No, I didn't... Whatever. I didn't mean to sell that many, but we'll figure it out. Alright, let's get the military up here. Are they gonna... Yeah, there goes one of them. Okay, there they go. There's one that's hanging behind, but... You know what? Go kill this. No, he's running away. I'm not going to worry about him. Yeah, he just went poof. So we will not worry about that. Oh, the other guy's following. Lovely. Alright, you guys are close enough to kill here, so let's murder this entire group of orcs or goblins or whatever the hell they are. But yeah, historically in my life I've been a very stupid man. Or really boy at the point that I'm talking about. Basically, it didn't have to do with making poor decisions. It had to do with, like, I was a nerd. I played D&D, played Warhammer, played 40k. Was into Mordheim, was a particularly awesome game that I've talked about before, which is in the Warhammer universe, but it's a little bit different. It's like a warband instead of an army, which is quite a bit easier on the pocketbook, which is probably why you don't see much of it. Because they would like for you to spend the money elsewhere on their armies, which costs hundreds and hundreds of dollars, rather than a warband, which you really just need the book and some bullshit. It's closer to like a D&D style thing almost. It's quite good, I enjoyed it. I kind of like Games Workshop's version of randomness, I just don't like their version of spending money. Too fucking expensive. Even when the game's really, but yeah, I did a lot of that stuff, and when I played Warhammer, or I played 40k, I really played anything, I was just terrible. I don't think I've ever won a single game of Warhammer or 40k, and oftentimes I didn't remember the rules. And a lot of the time, I never cheated, let's put it that way. But there were many times where I thought I remembered the rules and I did not. And sometimes that worked in my favor and sometimes it did not. And often, thankfully, I had friends that were much more intelligent than me or much more focused than me who remembered the rules and corrected me, which was appreciated. But I do not like who I used to be. Let's put it that way. I was dumb. I don't know what my issue was. I only really kind of feel like I got smarter around... Parts of it started coming together in college, but most of it was like after I started being miserable working a shitty retail job. That was kind of where things came together for me, which is a terrifying thing to say. That, like, the period of my life during which I improved the most was during and immediately after working the worst job that I've ever worked in my life. It's kind of funny. And by funny, I mean horrifying and depressing, but yeah, you know, as much as I am in no way willing to admit that my parents were right about this, working a terrible job can teach you a lot. Even though it's things that you know, but hating everyone that you work with will make you remember. And that's kind of the best way I can put it. So, I got a lot of stories about retail. I've told a few of them before, but, you know, it's pretty much what you expect. If you want to read stuff like that, which I highly recommend because it's funny as hell, check out Tales from Tech Support, or Tales from Retail, or Tales from the Office, or anything like that on Reddit. Some of those may be the wrong subreddit name. I know Tales from Tech Support is the one, but the other ones might be slightly different. But check them out, they're funny as hell. I really enjoy them. I mainly read Tales from Tech Support because I like the tech side of it and how stupid everyone is with technology, even though I rely on it so heavily. I can't imagine that someone who grows up with a smartphone is so stupid that they don't know the basics of computing. Like, I would imagine that they would realize, like, holy shit, this thing is so useful, it's helping me so much. I'm gonna learn how to use a computer, or at least pay attention when something goes wrong. But people are stupid. People are very stupid. But I should not complain, because that is an advantage I don't know why I pronounced it that way. That is an advantage that anyone who is not stupid can take advantage of and use to retain or gain employment. So keep that in mind, because as shitty as it is that we all have to deal with idiots, you can benefit from it. You just always, anytime something's going wrong, just start thinking about how it benefits you, because there's always a way generally that you can turn something around and make it at least a little bit of a positive. Find some positive in whatever's going wrong in life. Someone cuts you off, hey, you know, you're that much less likely to get pulled over. But at the same time, then you can't turn around and get pissed off when you do get pulled over, because shit happens, right? The important thing is knowing when to apply it and when to let it go. But that is a whole nother topic. Anyway, that is all we have for you today. So thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join us for the next one as well. Take care.